What's up guys, it's cubeatz here, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to make a Lil Tjay type beat in just 5 simple steps. Make sure to stay to the end so you don't miss all the gems in this video. So let's hop right into it. So great, so step number 1 is the foundation. So we start off by choosing the right piano sound for it. So in my case, I went into Contact and chose the Noir Pure one. It's a basic preset to create our chord progression. So a lot of Lil Tjay type beats are sad and have that pain style feeling to it. So it's a similar sound to road rave. So to achieve that sound, we're going to use a pretty simple chord progression. It's just going down the scale. So first we choose our scale right here. So in my case, it's D sharp minor. Now that I chose our scale, let's just start on the root note right here. And we go down the scale step by step. So I selected D sharp right here. Then afterwards I'll go down to C sharp and then B and then A. That's our chord progression. We can play with the rhythm if you want, but that's our chord progression. Now what we just need to do is just to turn these root notes into chords. So we skip one, replace, we skip one, replace. And we do that with these 3 notes as well. And we already have that sad pain feeling to it. So now we can enhance everything by just taking the third right here and putting them an octave up, like this. We can make the chord even more interesting by selecting the root notes and copying them an octave down to make it thicker. So this is our foundation for the chord progression. Just pick the scale and go down the chord progression. And as you can see, this is exactly what I did right here. I chose the scale, I went down the scale, I played around with the velocities and the timing of the notes, as you can see right here. Okay, so quick shortcut to make the chord strum like this is to press Option S. So let's concise this and press Option S, and then you can play around with the timing. Okay, so this is a quick shortcut so you can get that strum effect really fast and easily. Great, so after we got our chord progression down, we can make the melody a bit more interesting by adding a top line melody to it. So nothing complicated, I'm going down the scale, playing some sort of small top line melody to it, and that's it. I'm staying inside the scale all the time. Make sure that these top layers right here, the velocity of the notes are down. Make sure that they are not always perfectly quantized, as you can see right here. So this gives it that human effect. So now let's get into step number 2, layering. Now that we got our chord progression and our main piano melody down, let's layer this sound with an actual pad. This pad right here will fill up the melody a little bit more by staying subtle in the background. So the pad I chose for this is this one in Heat Up 3 called Pads, and it's called Ghosts. And what I did is pretty simple. I just duplicate the chord progression. I didn't strum them, I quantized everything. I just played around with velocity, as you can see right here, but that's exactly the chord progression. I just layered everything, and together we got this. I added some effects to the piano, so it's just a simple EQ. What I did is I just cut out some of the lows to make room for that 808 and the drums afterwards, and cut down a bit of the low mid frequencies. This frequency range right here is very common in pianos to be muddy, so let me boost it to show it to you. Now you can hear that the piano got a lot more clear. And afterwards I just added some fresh air to make the piano a bit more crisp, and I added some reverb to it to make it more in the background and fill up the room a bit more. And for the pad, I cut out a lot of the lows and I boosted some of the mid frequencies right here, just to make it a bit more presence. Afterwards, I added some of the fresh air plugin and I widened the sound with this free plugin right here. It's called Wider. I will leave the link in the description down below. Now let's get into the third step for making this type of beats, is to add some sad vocals. So as I said before, these Lil Tjay type beats are very sad and have a lot of that pain style to it. So now we want to emphasize everything with some sad vocals. So in my case, I went into Splice and I found these vocals right here. And as you can hear, the vocals doesn't sound good without any effects. So first I added the EQ and cut out pretty much all of the lows and some of the highs, and I cut down a bit of the frequency range right here, just making the vocal fit inside the piano melody that we already have. Afterwards I added some reverb to it to make it sit even better in the mix. But for me the vocal was a bit high, okay, so I could cut a little bit of the low end, but I want to add another plugin, so I added this free plugin right here. It's called Cymatics Origins, and this just makes sure that the vocal is a bit more filtered and a bit more, yeah, lo-fi, let's say. Also, it doesn't fit quite well with the melody that we already have. It's because the melody right here and the piano melody are taking up the same frequency range. It's the low mid frequency range. So we want to separate them a bit. So one quick fix to this is just pitch up the melody by an octave. And now we can hear the melody quite distinctly from the piano and the pad, and sits way better in the mix. Great, so now that we nailed the sad feeling and you already have a great foundation for this pain melody, let's get into the fourth step for making this type of beats, is accents and textures. So let's keep it simple with the accents and the textures, because we want to leave a lot of space for the artist. So I just went back into Splice and I found again this accent right here. Great, and now I want to add a bit of the top line melody to some accents to it, to give it some crisp. And for that I took a Rhodes piano. It's this one from Analog Lab 5, Rhodes 3 it's called. And I added the same top line melody as the piano before. This is just so that we have a crispy top line melody for the entire beat, okay? So it's really subtle, but it got the effect. Great, so now that we got this, I just added a simple, very simple sub bass to it. It's also for Analog Lab and it's called Bass Psalm, and it's just following the chord progression with some small jumps. Now that the sample is done, let's get to the drums. And this leads us to the fifth step for making this type of beats, is the bouncy drums. So Lil Tjay is known for these sad but bouncy beats. So let's recreate that bounce with this rim shot. Great, and after we just add a bouncy hi-hat to it. So really the hi-hat just emphasized the rim shot pattern, okay? After we got that, I just want to add some small open hats that I always do to make the bounce even better. this is what the drum should sound like, very bouncy and very playful. Great, after I got that, now let's take this 808 right here. This seems a very complicated 808 pattern, but in general it's just following the chord progression. So first we got this one right here, then we go down, and this one is also down, but it was way too low for this 808, so it sounded muddy, so I put it up an octave. Now let's just add the kick to finalize the beat. So yeah guys, this was the beat. I hope you enjoyed it. If you found some sort of value into this video, please leave a comment what you have learned, like the video and subscribe for more tutorials like this. And let's see each other in the next one, guys. Bye.